So, you've bought yourself a Dyson Airwrap. It's been all over your TikTok page, it's been trending on Instagram for years now, and you finally got your hands on one. But you're struggling to get to grips with it. Here's a breakdown of my top tips for when using the Dyson Airwrap. I've been a hairdresser for 10 years now, so I could say I've got a fair bit of experience under my belt when it comes to hair. I purchased my Airwrap about 3 years ago now, and I'd seen all the amazing videos all over social media, and once it had arrived, whipped it straight out of the box, was so eager to use it and get those gorgeous iconic curls that it's famous for. But much to my disappointment, it gave me the results that I loved, but they did not last long at all. After probably about 30 minutes of finishing with the tool, I noticed a massive drop in my hair. So I would say these top tips have been refined over the past 3 years, but I don't want you to feel like I did, because I felt definitely, if I was someone with 7 years experience at the time, how the hell is anyone getting good results when I know quite a lot about hair? So with that being said, here's a collection of my favourite tips when I use this to get the best results for the tool. I've always loved the saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And that is exactly the motto that you need to keep in mind when you are styling your hair. If you don't use the right prep for your hair, like a mousse or a heat protectant or something that's going to be right for the style, then you are failing to prepare for a style that's going to last you as long as you want. So initially, when we're going in, I'm going to prep my hair with a really lightweight and flexible mousse. Just through the mid-lengths and ends, I'm going to add a light coating onto each section. So a fantastic tip for when you're actually using the Airwrap is starting off just by drying your ends. What you don't want to do is leave any ends that aren't flat to the barrel. This is going to cause you something called fish hooked ends, which are basically going to resemble a really wiry sort of split end almost look. You want your ends to remain really flat and really sleek with the wand, and then move up to your roots. The roots are going to be the thickest part of your hair, so they're going to take the longest time to dry. So you want to make sure that you're holding the Airwrap on there for probably the longest amount of time. Now I like to use a mousse when using the Airwrap purely because it gives you grip. Without it, I always find that my hair went quite fly away, and this is what was causing it to drop, because it had no support from any prep that was in my hair. I used to use a heat protectant spray alongside this as well, which is always a must when using any heat styling product, which you'll see later on in this video will be another one of my tips. But the mousse is going to be a lot stronger foundation than any sort of heat protectant has, because it has the grip. Leading on from that, a heat protectant spray is going to be your best friend when using any heat tool. Now you want to coat your mid-lengths and ends in the heat protectant spray. It's definitely a way of saturating your hair that is best for the best results. Now when you are picking a heat protectant that's best for your hair, especially when using the curling attachment on the Airwrap, a curl specialist heat protectant is the one you want to grab for. It's going to ensure that it aims to keep your curls lasting longer and looking fuller whilst protecting at the same time. So why should you be using the Dyson Airwrap over anything else in your toolbox? Well, the difference between this and something like a curling iron is that it's a lower heat setting, so you're not using as much heat on your hair and you're achieving a slightly different look. Of course, you can still get a bouncy look with a curling iron, but the reason that Dyson is so popular is because they've made this with people's skills in mind. This is a lot easier way of styling your hair than, let's say, batting with a curling iron or trying to learn how to curl your hair with straighteners. A lot of people always ask me in the salon any techniques they can use for using the curling irons at home. And it's always a case of that they can't get the rhythm of looking at themselves in the mirror, holding the curling iron and using their hands without burning themselves. Something like this is fantastic because it does all the work for you. You simply grab a section of hair, pop the ends in and hold. There's literally nothing else to it. It couldn't be any simpler. So if you are someone that struggles with the rhythm of curling your hair and learning how to hold it with the mirror without burning your fingers, then maybe the Airwrap is a perfect tool for you. So one of my best kept secrets is that when I'm going on a big night out and I really need to rely that my hair is going to last all day and all night, is I will take my Airwrap exactly the same as I normally would. But instead, once it's in place, I take a nice trusty hairspray, flexible and lightweight. We don't want anything too strong because we don't want to coat the hair, but actually spray as it's on the barrel. This is just going to ensure that the hairspray is setting in place whilst it's wrapped around the barrel, ensuring that the shape has a chance to set a bit longer as well with the spray. In my professional opinion, something like the Airwrap I wouldn't be using in the salon. I find that it's definitely a consumer product, so it's fantastic for when you're styling your hair at home. I know that if I was trying to style someone's hair like a bouncy blow dry like I've done on myself today, I can get just as good a result with the hairdryer and a brush. And I think actually it's only on some hair types that this would be a lot more beneficial, because sometimes what happens is you can see at the root, because the air is blasting out of the barrel, it makes a little bit harder to get smoother finish on it. Whereas usually when I'm in the salon, I'll be using a nozzle on the end of my hairdryer, ensuring that any flyaways or frizz are flattened down and basically gone. Whereas with this, if you've got someone with particularly frizzy hair or really coarse hair, this Airwrap might not be the best finish on that particular hair type. Now, picking the right comb or brush to finish off your style is key in ensuring that the style stays and the overall look to the style as well. Now, for the choice today, because we've got so much volume in this, I am going to take a wide tooth comb and literally just glide it over the ends of my hair. I'm not going to over brush this, because that is also when you're going to start to lose the shape of your hair and it's going to start to drop and flatten. So all you do is simply take your wide tooth comb, pop it in once just to separate those curls, and you've got super mega voluminous results. One final tip for you. When you get flyaways, because the Dyson does disperse the air all around, so it's kind of inevitable that you're going to get a few rogue hairs here and there, I like to take an oil just to finish off with, run it through the mid-lengths and ends of my hair. And usually that does do the job, but depending on the time of year, sometimes I need something a bit stronger. So then, if I do need something stronger, I'll take my trusty hairspray, spray it on the palm of my hand, because if sometimes you spray it onto your hair, you can make it a little bit sticky to finish off with, which is not what we want. And I will just glide that over any sort of flyaways that I'm seeing, just to really give the style a sleek finish and ensure that no flyaways are going to come through at the end of the night. But what I really want to know is what's worked well for you when you're using your Dyson Airwrap. Have you found any tips that no one's really shouted about yet that work fantastically on your hair? Or are you kind of going with the flow and seeing what's trending on social media with tips and putting them into use when you're using yours? Let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll see you next time for another video.